Great. So I hope all of you can hear me fine. Can you give me a thumbs up? Folks, can you hear me? Great, Harsh. So, team, I think it's a smaller audience today, but nevertheless, I'm very happy to have this session and glad that you took out time on a Sunday morning to join us for this session. So the session is about AI unplugged from concepts to careers. How is AI impacting the world today, right? And what does it mean for our careers? What does it mean for us in terms of being job ready, right? So it's a great session, very future forward looking session, and I hope all of you are excited. Before we get started, if in the chat box or via your reactions, keep sharing your thoughts during the session. If you could share probably where are you joining from, that would be great. Can you type it in the chat box? Which city are you folks joining us from? Harsh, Rajib, Rohan, Shivani, Sumit, Supriya, Venugopal ji. Like I'm from Gurgaon. Are you okay typing in the chat box? Can you hear me? Harsh is from Amreli. Great. Great, Harsh. Rohan is from Patna. Welcome, Rohan. What about Shivani, Sumit, Priya? Sumit is from Bokaro. Wow, we have folks from all across. Great, great. Okay, my next question is, you know, um, if there's one app where you've seen AI being implemented and you said you thought, that's amazing. I didn't imagine AI would do this, right? Or this app would actually implement AI. Which app would that be? Can you comment that in the chat box or unmute and speak up? Hi, Swapna. Good morning. Any app that comes to your mind where you feel, you've sort of seen AI being implemented or being used? Anyone? Perplexity. Yes, that's a great use case of, how traditional search platform were sort of wrapped around in Perplexity to answer questions better. Great, Harsh. That's a great example. Rohan says Chat GPT. Absolutely. Sumit says Gemini, Perplexity, DeepSeek. Absolutely. A lot of chat and I think generative AI seems to be the top of apps. I think that all of us are using these days, not just to get answers, but I think we are also actively building apps on that, right? So absolutely, that's a great uh, observation. Okay, one thought that comes to mind is: do you think AI will replace jobs, create jobs, or will it do both? Right. So I tend to think that probably it will help us create jobs and maybe some tasks may be automated. But what do you think? Both. Sumit says both. It will also create new jobs as well as probably replace some of the older jobs. That's absolutely, I think, on point. Sumit, agree with you. Anyone else? You can also unmute and share, what you're thinking. Sumit, why do you think both?
Yeah, hi Varun. So actually, yeah, I think with the when we go more into the AI part, so new jobs will be created, and some traditional jobs will be, I mean, gone,
Right.
and the way of doing job will be changed. Like agentic system will be there, which will help us to do
Right.
our daily job.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Totally. So we heard another keyword, agentic, right? We keep hearing agentic AI. but what are these agentic agents that are helping us do some of these works and automate some parts, right? Also take probably some decisions of their own. So I think we'll go through some of those things in the session. Um, and my last question before we get to the topic is, how confident are you about your career being future ready? Probably on a scale of five being I'm very confident that I am future ready, to one being I'm not ready at all. Where are you on that spectrum between 1 to 5? Do you feel confident about your career being future ready? Harsh is saying 2. So he's worried about probably what lies ahead, but I think, Harsh, this is a great starting point. Anyone else? Harsh, why do you say 2?
सर बिकॉज आगे कैसे कैसे एआई आएगी और कैसे कैसे टास्क ऑटोमेटेड हो जाएंगे वो अभी तक इस लेवल पे पता नहीं चलेगा क्योंकि पिछले साल से 2000 आई थिंक 22 से 2026 तक एआई का जो स्केल है वो बहुत ऊपर चला गया है मतलब
बिल्कुल
ऑलमोस्ट ऑलमोस्ट सब काम ऑटोमेटेड हो गए हैं एक्सपेक्टेड से बाहर इसलिए
जी, जी बिल्कुल नहीं, I think बिल्कुल सही बात है. And every day I think all of us are thinking, is my job relevant? Am I ready or not? How soon? How far is it? How will I transform? How will I change myself? How do I get new skills? Right? These are questions that all of us sort of play with every day, right? Anyone else wants to share before we get started? Okay, great. So I think time to get started, move to the topic. But thank you so much for participating in the initial discussion. It helps us build context. So today, like we touched upon some bits. We are going to understand how AI is sort of shaping the entire landscape of careers. How do we get future ready, right? But before we do that, I just want to also tell you a bit about Yuno Learning, the platform which is sort of putting this event for you today. So Yuno Learning is one of the only edtech organization that helps you discover live instructor-led classes from top-rated instructors like Rajib Ji, and uh, we've trained over 25,000 students so far. Started way back in 2019, and we have today over 1,300 plus for positive, 5-star reviews. Right, that talks about the quality of learning that we help deliver to the learners. I'm one of the co-founders here. Our focus is always to help the learners in the most in-demand courses and be future ready. Right, all our courses that are listed on the platform are vetted, and we ensure that only top rated instructors are delivering these classes, and we follow a strict cancellation and refund policy. Let's say the classes are not being delivered, right, we are there to help you out right from day zero. After your course sort of kicks off, there's a support team that's always available to you to help you solve any sort of query that you may have, right? So that's a bit about junior learning. uh, to the topic, right? So Rajib Majumdar ji has been a veteran in the training industry, right? He's worked with multiple organizations. He's a seasoned data science and AI consultant, right? So no better person today who can help guide us, what the future sort of has in store. He, he's also got 3 decades of experience under his belt in organizations such as IBM, HCL, Tata Group, right? And he's worked with leading edtech institutions in delivery of these future-looking courses, right? Also got an Ed Falcon Global Award India in 2025, and he's a graduate and postgrad from Calcutta University, right? So I'm very excited. This webinar is, like I said, will be delivered by Rajib Ji, who's also the CEO of ROM Edutech, right? So Rajib Ji, very warm welcome to you. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah. Rohan. Yeah, Varun, thank you. Thank
Over
you.
to you, sir. Over to you, sir. We are very excited for what lies in the session, and I think I'll hand it over. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Varun, and all of you here. A big thank you for making yourself available on a Sunday morning, because I know Sunday mornings are more precious to anyone than any other, timings of the week, because then we are fully ourselves. We belong to ourselves. Okay. So having said that, we are in for about an hour or 90, 60 to say 60 minutes kind of, or a little more of a session here. Uh, what I'll do is I'll share my deck with you first. I'll share my deck with you, and then one second, guys. Share. uh, Okay, and I hope all of you can see the deck which I've shared. Yes, and I see you don't need to keep your. I'll also switch off my camera because it unnecessarily takes bandwidth. Okay, so today what we will discuss is we will discuss briefly about AI, the types of AI, and so that you understand what are the pieces that, or the stack, the elements of the stack that make up what we call as artificial intelligence. Uh, and then we will talk about how it evolves, which is the lowest one in the stack. Suppose then we'll which is the and which is the highest one, and what is going to happen beyond generative AI or agentic AI. Most of you have heard till agentic AI. I'll give you some idea about what are still behind the scenes coming up in the next 1 or 2 years. Things that can actually turn the entire world upside down. I'll give you an idea about that. Then we will discuss the most important and much awaited thing. What about jobs? Which jobs? I don't call them job losses or job gains, new jobs. I prefer to call them employment restructuring. So we will discuss employment restructuring. What are the types of jobs that are likely to vanish in the next 6 months to a year, or maybe at the most 2 years? And what are the opportunities that are coming up? You can fit into any of the opportunities. That is why, Varun was asking that question. How do you rate yourself in a scale of 5 in terms of your job readiness? So we'll discuss the various opportunities as well. These are not all. These are what are visible as of now. Obviously, things. One second. Screen. Uh, I think I start done the sharing, Varun. I think.
Yeah, I can see it, sir. I
Ha.
think.
My deck is there on the is being shared. So I'm
Yeah.
just talking. I'm not changing it right now. I'm just talking. Okay. So. So what we will do is we will discuss first. Now before that, this is my favorite slide where I say, and I think all of you believe that AI is no more the future. It is there. It is happening with us. So when you unlock your mobile phone with your face, or maybe when you find some of the emails that you receive are sent to a spam folder. This is all AI working behind all this, correct? So it is there, and it's going to continue to influence our lives beyond what you can see, which is very important. I tell you, you can see up till agentic AI. I will give you some idea about what is coming up, what is on the other side of agentic AI. I have one slide onto that. I will not talk much on that. I'll try to give you some idea. And then most importantly, we will spend the maximum amount of time discussing, and I will take questions from you regarding the kinds of jobs that will get created, rather more important, and then what will be slowly. Like, for example, you don't see typists anymore or stenographers anymore. So many jobs which we had seen during our early days had vanished from this. So a lot of jobs will vanish. Having said that, let me say that, let me take you to the next slide, which is very important. You would have, what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, what is deep learning. You hear not only these three terminologies, you hear a lot of other. It's a plethora of terminologies, and it confuses a person who's not into this industry. There is data science, there's data analytics, somebody calls it advanced data analytics, somebody calls it business intelligence. So, instead of going into each of these, which we do when we actually run a course, let me tell you everything that comes under this category is called AI, artificial intelligence, which could have a machine learning, where there could be deep learning. We'll discuss what is machine learning and this deep learning briefly today in this thing, which is generative AI. So this is a little older slide. So everything that comes under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. Correct. Now, we will discuss more of terminologies and this. Now, this is the most important slide. You would have seen um, uh, many other confusing slides. I would say too many things put in each of these areas, multiple algorithms being mentioned. Let me simplify it for you. Right now on the table for us, in fact, in the realm of AI, this is all we have. These are the, if you really want to understand what is AI, if you want to train up yourself, so you have machine learning, you have deep learning neural networks, you have natural language processing. Deep learning and natural language, you have recommender systems. We will discuss what is recommender systems today. We will discuss what is reinforcement learning. Deep learning and natural language processing enable something called generative AI. These are the basic foundations that make generative AI. Generative AI gives rise to application development, which is agentic AI, and RAG, that is retrieval augment generation. And a lot is happening on that. You would have recently heard about cloth code and all that. We'll discuss. So let us first get into each of these one by one and spend time briefly. I'm sure some of you would know what is machine learning, but most may not know. So I say let's first discuss machine learning. So what is machine learning? Machine learning works on data. See, one of the most important things in data science is that it requires data. Machine learning works on the past data. It takes the past data. It takes the purpose you want to create the model. It uses a mathematical or statistical algorithm. Then data is prepared and fed into that, and then the data is trained, and then the trained data can help you create predictions. This is roughly. I mean, as you go, I'll give you some shots from the Python notebooks. What are the types of machine learning? Machine learning can be broadly divided into unsupervised, supervised, and reinforcement learning. Within supervised, we would have two broad categories, which are regression and classification. Let us see each of these in the next few slides briefly. Uh, what is unsupervised learning? Unsupervised learning. First, let me explain you supervised learning. Then it becomes easy to understand unsupervised. Give me a moment. What is supervised learning? Supervised learning is like your maths exam book, exercise book. Have you seen the maths exact exercise? So every chapter is followed by a few exercises, and the solutions to those exercises are available at the end, in the last few pages of the book. So that is what we have done, all of us. So those are the labels, those answers there, and the solutions are the questions. So supervised learning is much about this. I'll give you an example of data here. Can you see this data? This is a real life data. There is data about 50. There is a data about 50 startups from US, and we have just taken a screenshot and put it here. This is from Python. So each these are things which we teach in the training actually. Each For each startup is represented by one row. So for a specific period of time, you have the R&D expense, you have administration expense, you have the marketing spend of the startup, you have the state from which the startup belongs, and you have got the profit. Correct. So here, my idea is to build a model. Suppose you are an investment banker. You want to make your first estimates about the profitability of an organization just from this data. Correct. So the same data here, you see what we'll do is we will take profit as the label. So what kind of R&D expense, what kind of administrative expense, what kind of marketing spend, and which state? State is important because state has a lot of legislations for which the profitability varies. For which combination of this is the profit. So I have a huge data set where the machine starts learning the relationship between the R&D spend, profit, administration profit, marketing spend profit, state profit, and this is all defined by a math. This is the simplest one, which we call it the regression analysis. And once machine learns it and the model gets created, when a new state comes up, you just have to put the R&D spend, administration, marketing spend, and the state. And from the previous learning, the model will be able to indicate the kind of a profit that particular R&D. So this is one of the examples I can give you for this. Is called supervised learning, because say you see on the right hand side, we have the profit. We have the profit, which is the level, which is the solution. So the machine learns from the combination of the other variables, which we call the matrix of features, and these are also called the predictors, and the profit is also called the response variable. So this is supervised learning. Let us go and have if this is supervised learning, in unsupervised learning, you don't have that level, that price column that we don't have something like that. So we have this data, say for example, which is the data of this is also real life data. We have 200 customer data. See, in real life, what happens in real life, this data runs into lakhs. So, but in training, because we do not know what kind of machine the students are having, we keep the data set small. So we have 200 rows. Each of them is a customer in a mall. When you go to any of the retail outlets like a Westside or a Shopper Stop, and as you buy, you keep getting reward points. Similar, it's a US data. Obviously, you have a customer ID which has been replaced by a serial numbers, because we don't. So the gender of the person, the age, annual income of the person, because it is tracked. It is not tracked as the exact figure, but what is your income level? 50,000 to a lakh 50 lakh to a lakh 50, like this. Annual income level and the spending score, which is the reward points in India, as we call them. Now you can see there is no level here. So there are about 200 rows. This is just a screenshot. I tell the machine, please take this, because I am suppose the marketing head. I want to do some data-driven marketing. Correct. I'm just giving an example. So what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll give it to the machine with an algorithm called k-means. There are other algorithms like hierarchical algorithm. So the machine takes it for me. The machine takes the data from me. 1 second, I myself I have to see that. It uses a machine learning algorithm k-means. K is the number of groups. So I ask the customer, I ask the machine to make 5 groups of the data, 5 groups based on their similarities. And similarities in terms of, I suppose I say in terms of their annual spending and salaries. Then those 5 groups are created called clusters. Then I analyze the clusters. This gives me, I'll show you. This gives you very, very important insights about each cluster, and so that you can take easy business decision, and you don't have to spend on your marketing for the entire, say there are 5 lakh customers. I don't have to spend on the 5 lakhs, and where I know that most of, how is it? Say for example, works like this. So these are my clusters of all the 200 customers created, and this is a visualization which I have used. That is why I have taken, see on the x-axis we have the income. We have the annual income, and on the y-axis we have the spending score, which we have the reward points. So you see, I have categorized, machine has clustered in them. So look into this red clusters, which is very high on income, but they are very low on spending, right? So definitely if I'm the marketing head, this is the category. Now here it is 20-30, but in real life there will be lakhs. So this is the group where I will actually go and have to get them to the outlet and make them spend, because they have the money. There are customers who don't have money, who don't spend much. So this is the pink group. There are people who have a lot of money and who spend a lot. So the yellow group here, which is the high-end group. So whenever I'm launching a product which is very high value, which is a very snub value, so I can probably target the market at the target this particular market. Look at the green guys. The green group is very low on income, but is very high on spending. That means they are major credit card users. So to market to them, I will tie up with the credit cards in creating schemes and offers. So have you understood the concept? So this is what follows from, this is called data-driven marketing. There are many more such cases which we actually treat during our machine learning this thing. So this is unsupervised and supervised learning. And then this is the data. I think we have discussed this. This is the regression stream flow analysis of those startups. So we actually predicted. I'm not getting into the accuracy test and all that. So that is your this. Now, what is reinforcement learning? So we have discussed machine learning. Where is reinforcement learning? Reinforcement learning is learning through experience, basically. Okay. So there is an algorithm. Um, so you learn a lot. We human beings learn a lot of things um, through our experience. So suppose it's a robot. You have given the robot a job to be a waiter in the hotel. So initially it will do a lot of mistakes, but the algorithm inside it will start learning from the mistakes. Like how many steps to take before you reach the table, how much to lower your hand to put the tray on the table. So all this is guided. So when it does something wrong, it gets a penalty. And whenever it does something right, it gets a reward. And there is an agent that keeps accumulating the reward and the penalties for all the actions that happening in the environment. So and finally, the this agent helps in robot to learn how many steps to take to reach the table, how much to lower your hand. I'm just giving you some very high level example too. So this is reinforcement learning. Not even that. When you're using Chat GPT or you're using Perplexity or you're using Anthrop, whatever, whenever you are asking questions, because these are things we teach in our generative way. Whenever you're asking questions, you're getting data. So the type of questions you are asking, all that is also giving a lot of experience to the model LLM, large language model sitting behind, and it is continuously learning from you. So that is also reinforcement learning. So learning through experience is a reinforcement learning. So Sarah, some of the enforcement learning experiences: automated robots, natural language processing, marketing and advertising. Marketing and advertising, the algorithm runs from the various campaigns that you run and which campaign has got the maximum this thing. So image processing, recommendation systems, like when you buy one product, what else to buy? There is an algorithm for this. I'll be gaming, energy conversion. So these are some of the applications of reinforcement learning that is taking place. Reinforcement learning is also included in our machine learning course. Okay. Then you have recommender systems. What are recommender systems? You go and watch Netflix and you see 2 or 3 movies. Netflix tries to read the kind of movies you like, whether you like a drama or a comedy or action or suspense, thriller. It also the kind of language that you prefer. So those things are created vectors, and those vectors are compared with something called the cosine similarity, and it recommends you the next movie that you should. The IMDb ratings are also taken into account. So those are called recommender systems. Another is when you go to a Flipkart or Amazon, this thing, and you buy certain things, the system also advises you that people who have bought this also have bought this. That is from the recommender system. That uses an algorithm called a priori. So these are recommender systems which recommend you products, services, movies as you keep using them. So that is another type of this thing. Then we will talk about this is a recommender systems I told you. So e-commerce recommendations, as I told you, content recommendation like TV shows, job recommendation, kind of based on the kind of jobs that you are searching, they recommend you jobs. Social recommendations like Facebook, Twitter recommend systems, so suggestion of friend suggestions that you get from this. These are all recommended. Let's come to the most important thing here, that is deep learning neural networks. Now, what happened in the 1916? One gentleman, his name is he he came up with the idea that so you see that we have shown you machine learning models just now. Human brains are made up of something called neurons. Thousands and thousands, or maybe lakhs of neurons are there in our brain, human brain. And each neuron, if you take a simplified look, it is like this. It has dendrites. I mean, this is a very simplified. If you look at a real image or a photograph, it's very different. We have dendrites which bring in information from other neurons into a particular neuron. The central processing unit of a neuron is called the cell nucleus, and whatever information it creates whatever is the output of this neuron, it goes out to other neurons through synapse, axon, and then the synapse. Again, to the other neurons, they become dendrite, which puts it. So these are neurons, thousands and thousands and lakhs of neurons, which are there in our brain, which help you. Melvin Minsky, he is the gentleman in 1960. He said, "Why don't I give a mathematical interpretation to this?" So he came up with a mathematical interpretation to this. He's saying, if I have inputs like x1, x2, x3, and I have a function fx which adds up x1, x2, and till xn, which is given, and then I use various weights. I can get an output. So this is called a perceptron model. This neuron, this mathematical interpretation to the neuron becomes a perceptron model. Now, this perceptron model was supposed to be very ambitious, but somebody criticized it so heavily that something called AI winter happened, which I can Google and find out. AI winter is a lull of 10 years from the late 70s, 1970s, where no development happened because someone unfairly criticized this model. But later, Google Labs, one of the Nobel Prize winners, the godfather of deep learning or AI is called Geoffrey Hinton. He and two other gentlemen, Ian LeCun, who was the AI head of Facebook, you would have seen recently, Ian LeCun, and Keshav Benjo, he's one of the professors from the University of Montreal. They are called if you go and see, you see a lot of pictures about them. They are called the gang of, they call the mafia who actually created this world of artificial intelligence. So imagine this perceptron. This is a perceptron, which is a cell. So that is put into various layers, huge number of layers. So this is a very simple basic layers. Each of these these circles are neutron specialists. So all of them are connected to just like the brain. And so you can put in data like this. So depending on the activity, depending on the function, your layers, you'll have more number of layers. Always you have to have an input layer, you have to have an output layer. Output layer is also depending on what kind of output you are looking at. And if it is having more than two hidden layers, you see the layers in the middle are called hidden layers. Then typically we call them the deep neural networks. Correct. This has a lot of processing power. Mind you, compared to machine learning, this is much more accurate and has a lot of, this works on a various, so it works on the principle of weights. See, whenever you have something and you want to train the network, you have something called, you send the data from one side, it goes to the output layer. This is called feed forward. And the output layer compares with the original output, finds out the difference, and then the difference is made up by changing the weights through the backward propagation. So this happens. So why are neural networks, first of all, neural network predictions are much more accurate. But you need much more data to train a neural network. Suppose you do a regression, the thing I showed you about that startups. You can, if you have huge number of data and you use the same thing on a neural network rather than a simple machine learning, you will get much more accurate figures. But machine learning per se is not good in handling imaging applications like you take your face and you open your mobile. So those are trained models sitting there in your mobiles. Most predictions involving imaging are using convolution. This is the CNN, which is taught in our this thing. And so neural networks or deep learning networks have become the basis mostly for most of our predictions. And then came the natural language processing, which is languages. See, every language, whether it's Hindi or English or Bengali or Tamil or Marathi, every language has its own structure. There are rules which we learn in grammar. Most of us, we have learned grammar, but then grammar also there are exceptions. So natural language processing is the field of, until about 2 years back, I am in data science for, after 35 years of working experience, I am in data science for almost 7.5 years. And for 2 years back, we were actually trying to first getting the details of the natural language processing. So it has advanced very fast. And today we have embedded words. Like every word is embedded. So, so the predictions that your large language models like ChatGPT or Perplexity does is because of vectors. every word is vectorized, every sentence is vectorized. Correct. See, these are all things which we'll get in details when we do the training. So this natural language processing and deep learning, which is run on deep learning, we train something called transformers, which I'll show you again when we come to it. So natural language processing is that. See, not only it runs the language, it learns the context, it learns the formation of the language, which is, and then each of these, the formation is also captured in a vector called positional encoding, and that encoding is passed through. So it's a huge complex thing, which in generative AI, we will teach you how to create transformers, how to write a transformers, how to create your own small LLM. So text data is highly structurized, unstructured otherwise. Correct. So language translation, autocomplete, conversational like chatbots, like ChatGPT that you're using. So these are that the language models like OpenAI, ChatGPT by OpenAI, Google, Gemini, Lambda. So there are many. There are many. And then based on deep learning and natural language processing, you have something called generative AI. So basis of generative AI is the large language models, which you see. See, why people think generative AI, most people is the only AI. Because if you go back here, because you can actually, most people, layman can touch AI through generative AI, through a chatbot. But a layman cannot touch a recommender systems, or even if he touches a recommender system, he doesn't know it is a recommender system. When he sees a Netflix, he gets a recommendation for another new film. He doesn't know what's going on behind, what algorithm. So he doesn't know. But generative AI, he knows that gentleman ChatGPT is sitting there. So what I ask him, he answers. So reinforcement learning also is happening somewhere in the behind, but it is happening. Natural language processing is someone data scientists mostly know. Deep learning also. Deep learning has powered the generative AI, but the gentleman, the layman cannot see the deep learning. So machine learning is obviously there at the to begin with. So most people who have not been into AI, they think generative AI is the type of AI. Generative is the, or rather on the LLM, what you do is you do chatbots. But that is not only thing. You can create applications. You can create like you can create an application where you connect to a SQL database, and you can, instead of using SQL, you can write simple language and it will give you the answers to the query. That also we will teach when we do the generative AI. So you can generate your create agentic AI applications, uh, ठीक and or agents and tools you can use to create generative AI applications. So that is where we have seen till now. So, as I was telling you that what powers generative AI is transformers, which is a complex one, but it's very nice. It catches a lot of things. It captures the positional encoding, the context, which is we called it the context window of an LLM. So all these things are then what is it used for? Generative AI. See, generative AI is very good for content creation, image generation, music composition, video generation. But when it comes to prediction, like the two things I've shown you how to cluster customers to offer new products, to run your campaign. Just imagine if those customers are bank customers. Banks have many financial products. So if your customer cluster your customers based on the kind of products they're using, you can get various groups where you can decide what to pitch to each group differently. But maybe that particular group is not taking that particular product. So there are many use cases. Although those are machine learning. Now those kind of things cannot be done by generative AI easily. Let me tell you. Some people argue, but they don't know about it. Recently, in fact, if people of you please ping me, I can share one of the Gartner articles, which clearly says you cannot use generative AI in every situation. It depends, depending on the situation. A data scientist knows what type of AI to use in which. So these are the ones that are available. Generative AI, till generative AI, every one of you have heard it, but there's something coming up. What is beyond generative AI? What is coming up in the next few guys? What is an ambient AI? Guys, imagine, let me give you a situation. You go to a doctor and for half an hour you discuss your problems with the doctor. You tell him about your symptoms. The doctor asks you questions. So there is an ambient AI system, maybe a voice recorder that is sitting, that is connected to an ambient AI algorithm behind, which is listening to the data, cutting out the crap, getting the real data about the problem. And by the time your discussion is over, doctor, which is the laptop, is also connected to the ambient. He gets what is the problem, what is the medical analysis or the diagnosis of your problem is created, and the data sheet is created. Doctors write whenever you have gone there. Suppose you have gone for something, and they check your blood pressure, they check your whatever pulse, and then they write you there's so much, so much, so, and then they'll give you this. So all those things get done. Right now, the question comes. This I'll discuss more deeply when we discuss what are the jobs lost. Will that doctor have his job for too long? Or instead of the doctor, if we have a paramedic sitting there, is he not enough? Why do we need a doctor? I'm just saying this is a thought for food for thought. Next comes neurosymbolic AI, which is coming up. What is symbolic AI? When symbolic reasoning, I'll explain you what is symbolic reasoning, is run on neural networks, which I have just now showed you, deep learning. We get a very powerful combination which called the neurosymbolic AI. What is symbolic AI? Symbolic AI, like for example, let me give you an example of a symbolic AI that a year which is divisible by 4 is a leap year. That is a symbolic reasoning. So if there's a situation where a year is there and the algorithm is calculating where the year is, so it knows, it divides by 4. I'm just giving you a very simple case. For example, there are many cases of if a gentleman is short in height and his wife is also short in height, generally 75% of the cases their children will also be short in height. I'm just saying this may not be very perfect, but this is a symbolic reasoning. If Ram is Sham's father and Hari is Sham's brother, then Ram is Hari's father. I'm just saying these are the kind of things that we do. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of symbolic reasoning, lakhs of symbolic reasoning. So when this symbolic reasoning will be learned on neural networks, it produces wonders in terms of predictions. See, predictions are never perfect. Predictions would be best of predictions could be 96, 98% perfect. Even in machine learning, when we learn, we show them. So that is something that is coming out. A lot of work is being done, research is done in that. That is neurosymbolic AI. And AGI is artificial general intelligence is something which everyone is scared of. Which everyone, even the people who have created, people like Geoffrey Hinton, Yann LeCun, and Bishop, everyone is criticizing. God knows what's going to happen. Because it is like Frankenstein. It may take my job. It will learn from me. It will use the resources available in the net to learn more from me, more than me, and then it will teach me back. Now, please understand what is happening. In AI today, if you give a prompt, you get an answer. So there is a human activity required to start the AI. If I need to create a model, I have to give data to the algorithm, like a machine learning or a deep learning. But in ambient AI, ambient AI is no one is doing anything. It is sitting there. It is there in your house. Algorithm is running. It finds out what time you wake up. It will act. If you wake up at 6, maybe, and if you normally go, it tries to find out when you go for baths, bathing, and then it will automatically switch off your geyser 15 minutes before your bathing time. I'm just giving. So you don't have to trigger it. It is working behind it. Something like Alexa, Alexa, please dim the light, please do that. But then there again, you are telling Alexa. But here you don't tell this guy ambient AI anything. It is sitting here and it has noticed your life pattern, what you do, and the algorithm is running, and the algorithm is taking your personal data also. So I mean, these are certain things, data privacy and all that. Everyone knows, the system knows what you do, what are your habits, food habits, what are your sleeping habits. AGI is something like every particular AI, like ChatGPT can do very good text. Machine learning can do very good predictions on structured data. So every type of neurosymbolic AI will be able to do predictions using symbolic reasoning, ambient AI, but AGI will be able to do all of this by itself. So you will not have specific, it's called a broad AGI. So when you'll not have, so AGI will also be able to see. Recently, one of the developers in US reported that he created a agentic AI, and that agentic AI was supposed to shut down certain systems in case of a error, or in case of. So while shutting down some of the systems, the guy noticed that, well, one of the critical systems, if it gets shut down, even that agentic AI will get shut down, which is shutting down. So it understood it that, see, this is called self-preserving algorithm. So the machine understands, that agentic AI agent understands, if I shut this down or if I cut my nerves, I'll get killed. So it is self-preserving. It understands, it doesn't do it. If requires, it will not follow the guy who has created that code, but it will make it, it will preserve. See, these are the things where people are little. So these are things which in AGI, artificial general intelligence, is expected to come sometime around. Any lot of estimates are there. Somebody says by end of 26, which I don't believe. Maybe it's 2-3 years away. So there is a lot of talk about how to ensure that there are guardrails. So that, what are guardrails? Guardrails are certain limitations, certain rules which will tell you when you develop a system that these are the things which you will not do, so that AGI does not take over you, which is very important. It does not stop listening to you and does things which are good for its own self-preservance. Okay, so these are things which are happening beyond it. Now that's it. That's about. You can always ask question to me on any of these things, topics that I have given you, which I'll again talk in details later. So right now, this is that. These are the application. Most of the, not that all sectors have accepted the bank. So these are banking, retail and commerce, telecom, pharma, human resource, police and crime. I know Los Angeles police uses machine learning data to predict the probability of a crime happening on a particular date at a particular time at a particular place. Sports, there's a lot of sports being used in sports, IT, government. Correct. So all that is happening. And let me go. I don't want to spend. Yeah. Now let us come to the most important topic, which is employment. I don't call it job losses. I call it employment restructuring will happen in the age of AI. It is going to bound to happen. If you're well connected, if you read news every day, so much of it is happening in US. It will happen in India also. It will also affect our IT companies, so-called large IT companies, of which India has been proud of, which has been only depending on billing by sending manpower to US for their projects, not by developing real softwares, which will actually benefit the industry. Okay, coming, coming to it, what types of jobs? First, let's understand what types of jobs are vulnerable to AI. First of all, the job should be rule based, very rule based. Like, I'm not an accounting guy, but I can tell you there's a golden rule of accounting where you do a debit, you do a credit, and this is very rule based. If this is this, you do that. If this is this, you do that. If this is the kind of expense, you do this. Give it to this ledger. If that is, so these are rule based, very repetitive, the same work being done again and again. It is data heavy. It requires a lot of data processing, and there's very little of judgment or creativity or human interaction in that. Okay. So there are people who are sitting in companies, they are verifying vendor invoices, they are verifying what you call this, expense claims. There are so many things they are verifying. So let's see if this is the rule. These are the characteristics. Now, these are the jobs which are likely to get affected in the near future. But now, this is not all. There will be many more. This is just what we know about it. What data entry operators surely see. Earlier, whenever you filed a KYC, gave documents, your Aadhaar card and everything, those were entered by data entry operator. But today with OCR, optical character recognition, which is very advanced, it's almost 100% accuracy. This data can be converted into digital by any document can be converted into digital by or invoices or anything by OCR and can be entered and AI can take over in terms of the data. So most banks have already started replacing human data entry by these methods. Telecallers and basic customer support executives. If you look into this, the basic customer support executive's job is very well defined. It is also like about the product, my delivery date. I asked for this repair service. This is the ticket number. These are very easy. These are all in the database. So using agentic AI applications, using an LLM at the backend, which gives it the reasoning capability and the tech support, I can create agents. So one agent will pick up the call. Obviously, text to voice is very easily available. So it gets the customers, it interacts in the text to voice recognition, this thing, gets the data like a chat GPT, creates the query using the LLM. Like you have the query is given to chat GPT, it gets the answer. If the answer is very specific, then it uses a RAG, it gets the data, and the data gets back to another agent, which converts it back into voice and gives it back to the customer. So this is the way it keeps happening. So telecallers and basic customer support executives and are soon to get replaced. See, people who call you in Hindi or Tamil or Bengali also will get replaced because AI, Government of India is doing so much to develop LLMs. In fact, the Prime Minister has requested the AI community to start developing LLMs with local language capabilities. As soon as these things happen, this will English to yes, but even the junior accounts, bookkeeping clerks, yes, I have just now told you that junior accountants, they will do very repetitive rule-based work, bookkeeping clerks. Manual testers of software testing. This kind of many test cases can be created, UI can be tested, everything can be tested by AI. Everything can be. Manual testers of software testing is almost gone. Like it will go in very soon. Content writers for low value repetitive content. हर दिन छोटा छोटा कंटेंट लेके रहे. These are all gone. Like travel agents, which is not there. Mostly internet. Traditional ticket booking rules are not there because we normally go and book our tickets through this thing. Basic financial analysis, report driven rules. People who are creating. See, I told you. People who will join our generative AI classes, we will teach you an application, develop an agent which will connect to a SQL database. It will take a query from you not as a SQL, but in plain simple English. Use the LLM's capability, convert that plain simple English into a LLM SQL query, and then so very soon people I can ask the database SQL to create a report for me like this and this in plain simple English, which the boss can do without asking the SQL guy to go and generate that report. So that guy is gone, let me tell you. So that guy is gone. So basic financial analytic report driven rules who are creating reports, Excel reports, pulling out data from SQL, creating Excel reports, those are gone. These are gone, and not only this, I mean, as I told you, people who train themselves on Copilot and other things, they may survive for some more time. Paralegals and legal assistants. Paralegals and legal assistants, they help lawyers. They try to, in a huge document, they try to find out certain keywords or phrases and try to get. So these are words which will go. A market research analyst is entry level, so that is also going to go because theirs is very repetitive kind of a job. So this is what these are the kind of jobs we are expecting to get affected soon. But this is not all. There would be many more. But whatever will be driven by this. If it is rule-based, repetitive, data heavy, and it is low on judgment, creativity, or human interactions. See, wherever it requires human decision making, which is also getting taken over by artificial intelligence in things like AGI and all that, that will get affected. So this is very important. So um, this is so now with the bad news there, not bad news. I mean, I mean, years back we have seen, because I am from another generation, probably you are much younger than me. We have seen typists. Typists have disappeared. We have seen stenographers or shorthand executives in companies who used to listen to the boss's dictation. Those are gone. So many things are gone now. Many positions are gone. Uh, so a lot of these positions will go and new positions will get created. Now let us see what is emerging job roles in the AI economy. What are the things that are coming up? Now, characteristics. What are the types of jobs that will get created? And it is already getting created. People are getting. But judgment is required. When judgment is required, say a lawyer. He requires a judgment. Say a high-level doctor. who is performing surgery. His judgment is, but a low-level doctor who typically works on fixed set of rules or where he uses to diagnose, probably AI system will diagnose the particular symptoms much better. Where the context matters, because whatever you see and do, human actions, human thoughts are based on context. If you think about teaching someone a lesson, who a lesson, what is the context? So the context matters. Context can vary, which the humans can handle better. Ethics and account, but this is possible technically, but shall I do it? Shall I not do it? Shall I acquire data about, I'm just saying, drinking or smoking habits of a person? Is it correct? Without his permission? No. Maybe that is ethics, accountability. So you can do a lot of things. There's a lot of work about, there's a lot of, say, companies when they start implementing AI, there has to be ethics, AI ethics people who have to know AI, who have to know what are the things that AI can do and what are business decisions must be made. Uh, Final decisions, whether we are going to close this deal, whether we're going to do this, do that. So there AI cannot handle this. First, and then there are many situations where humans and AI together can outperform any of these things alone. So these are the situations. So these are the typical characteristics of AI-enabled job roles. Now let us look at the AI-enabled job roles. Now, AI machine learning engineer, which is definitely taught you about machine learning. Prompt engineer, AI interaction designer. See, this is something which is a must for all. Today, some people are teaching you. We will also start a course where we can teach prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, nothing but writing English, but your ability to write English in a stuck there are a lot of things like zero shot prompting, one shot prompting, and all that. Those are you can use prompt, you can write prompts and ask the AI, the chat GPT to generate content for an entire presentation given the topic of the presentation, which you can then take and import it into your PPT, the slides get created, and then use the Copilot to design or this thing. So you can do this kind of thing. So you can also, so those are tools, usage of tools which are important. People who do not want to have a career in AI, which is when like AI machine learning engineer or AI product manager. AI product manager is very important. See, to productize AI is very difficult because AI depends on data, and data will vary widely from company to company. So productizing AI is very difficult. So I would rather like to call this AI product manager a system architect. So a AI system architect would know what kind of AI, whether it's generative AI, whether I use a machine learning, whether it's simple, whether it could be a combination of machine learning and generative AI. So I would say that this guy needs to have a career in AI. Data engineer and data pipeline architect is very important because AI cannot work alone. AI has to work in a here you niche aap dekho. MLOps, this is machine learning operations. You have to deploy AI applications, data engine, and then you have to maintain the data. So AI ethics and governance specialist, that is the created. Business analyst, decision intelligence analyst, AI operation MLOps engineer, which is who makes sure that AI is deployed, it is maintained, data pipeline is maintained, then the model is periodically updated or retrained. Next is, this is a very important this thing. We need huge number of AI trained people in the years to come. I'm talking about my country. We need huge number of AI trainer and domain experts. So people who actually learn AI, machine learning, and deep learning and all that. So they can. In fact, we are also looking for people who can train more because there are many people who will be required. Let me tell you, I teach in one of the universities. Most of the private universities, they still are not up to the level in terms of understanding. They employ some third party to come and do it, and the third party also knows that much. AI personality and interaction designers. So here with generative AI coming up, this is another important role. So these are the roles. Okay, now before this, let me take you here. I'm taking you here because many people say learn generative AI. That is the no, generative AI is, first of all, generative AI is a combination of deep learning and natural language processing. So to do generative AI properly, to become a generative AI expert, to be able to create agents, work on MCP. MCP is the protocol that connects agents and tools. Agents require tools. And one of the analogies, let me tell you, you would hear LLM. the large language model, what are agents, what are tools. Suppose a person is eating, he requires his brain. The brain is the LLM. He requires his hands to eat. The hands are the agents. He requires fork and knife. So those are the tools. I mean, this is the kind of analogy. So this is the kind of so nothing. Generative AI. You just cannot jump into it and learn. To be an expert on generative AI, to use ChatGPT, you don't need to know anything. But if you really want to build agentic AI applications, then you need to know deep learning networks, natural language processing. Sorry, I was one of the slides. Now, to do these two, you should know deep learning, you should know machine learning, even reinforcement learning or recommend. You need to know Python and or R. Python is the thing. So ultimately, we have created courses. The first course that we have created, which Yuno Learning will share with you. We have created a 60 hours course where you have machine learning and deep learning taught in 60 hours. This will not only make you a machine learning engineer, you can go around, you can be a freelancer, you can be a trainer, you can go and offer your. See, I have a take on this, guys. With the landscape changing, not all companies like the small and the medium companies, even I work for Indian Fortune 500 companies, they are not AI ready. They will, and they are unlikely, all of them are likely to go to TCS or a Infosys or a Wipro, which charges lakhs. At least I've done one project where one of the large training companies had asked for 60 lakhs for the project. It was a Fortune 500 Indian pharmaceutical giant. I have delivered it myself in 6 lakhs. So those opportunities remain a galore for people who want to do this machine learning and deep learning neural networks. And these are all based on open source. So you can go become a freelancer, you can become a trainer. Next is the course that we are giving is another 30 hours, 35. See, for us, because I teach myself, 5 or 10 hours extra doesn't matter. What matters is to me, my students' learning experience. Next course is natural language reinforcement learning. Recommender systems will be tied up with machine learning when we teach that, or deep learning when we teach that. And these three is another. So that is another 3 months. So let's say this entire stack you can learn in 6 months. It will be intense. If you are determined, if you are ready to put in time, we are ready to help you to master this entire stack till agentic AI. And now the things like we have decided to introduce things like cloud code, which is the talk of the town today, end-to-end, AutoGen from Microsoft for building agentic AIs. So these are the things which will be taught in our generative AI, agentic AI application. But to get there, you have to go through this. Because you cannot go to the Himalayan peak without going to the base camp and the other peaks, smaller peaks. So you have to. And if somebody tells you, why are you learning everything? You learn generative AI. He doesn't know. You can learn ChatGPT. You can learn use of tools. There's nothing. But if you really want to, you cannot learn this just like that. Let me tell you. Let people not fool you. Let people not misguide you. Then halfway through, you will realize I don't know this. Or this guy is using some classes from Python. I don't know object-oriented programming in Python, which will be taught here. So it's very important, guys. Don't get misled. You need to, if you want to become a machine, see, because as I told you, beyond generative AI, things like ambient AI, neurosymbolic AI will come. So AI will continue to grow every year. Even after 7.5 years, every time I thought, yeah, I know 80% or 90% of the stack, I found that 2 more new things are coming. So it will continue. It's very exciting. People who are ready to take this head on, build careers in AI, we are going to help them totally, and we can offer the entire thing in 6 months. We can 6 to 6.5 months. It will take a few classes extra, but no extra cost to the student. But we will make them. So that's it, guys. I will leave it open
I
to.
think this was an important slide,
Huh,
the one that you were presenting.
huh.
Folks, any questions so far? I think what we've touched upon, and I think on this slide, anything that you want to sort of clarify from Rajib, sir?
You can ask me, guys, straight away also.
Yeah.
If you don't want to type it, you can straight away ask me any
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
on.
Feel free to unmute, please.
No questions, guys?
Shivani, Rohan, Shubhashri, Sumit, Supriya, Swapnan, Venugopalji, Prateek, Navya, Evangeline, anyone? Any questions on this slide or anything sir has covered so far? Cool. Let's proceed, sir.
Okay, so that's it, guys. I think courses are actually we have the courses here. No,
Anji, sir.
it's fine.
Yeah, they are
Yeah,
there.
I think you have to use your deck, Rohan, Varun, because my deck does not have that course details, which I've given already.
Okay, sir.
Can you
Should I
start?
present? Should I present, sir?
Please put there. I will give the course details. So it's basically two courses which we have put into one. 60 hours, which is machine learning and deep learning and Python full. This is we will. You can put it up. I will stop sharing this. Uh, Varun, you can put up your deck. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
You can see my screen, right?
I can see your screen. So,
Yeah.
so this is a certification called Advanced Data Science and Machine Learning certification. See, let me tell you, even I don't see everyone who's teaching AI is my competitor. So I don't want to see because there are many people giving certification, teaching you a few basic things. And trust me, having been so many years working for universities, teaching people in universities, putting them up for most people who are recruiting your job opportunity, they are not bothered about your certification. They're bothered about whether you really know it or not. Very simple. So our focus while we give you the certificate is to make sure that you know it. So if you go move ahead. Uh, um, See about ROM Edutech. So these are the schedule of courses.
Okay, sir.
See, this is our. We have trained more than 12,000 in machine learning and AI. If any of you care, today my students are working as data scientists in American Express and S&P Global. You can go and check it out from the link recommendation section in my LinkedIn. Okay, so we have done projects. So whatever we are offering right now, we are offering a very comprehensive course to data analytics where we will teach you everything. I'm not getting line by line, but it will teach you the entire gamut of machine learning, all the algorithms and supervised, unsupervised, regression, classification, everything. It will teach you some of the advanced topics like XGBoost, XGrid, grid search, k-fold cross validation. It teaches you all that. And then again, it takes you to deep learning, which will take you to deep learning. We will teach you how to do artificial neural network, basic artificial, then convolutional neural network, which is where you handle images, all those face recognition, everything comes in that. We will teach you medical imaging. We will teach you how to. We have about 25,000 images of blood cells which are infected by quite a few of those infected by malaria. So we will teach you to train the model using images to look at a blood cell and say whether this particular patient has malaria or not. So we'll use that kind of things. Right. And then we will teach you recurrent neural network, which is important, which is the basis of building your next. So we give you a certification in deep learning. And after that, like people who want to continue, they can join our next layer, which is where we will teach them natural language processing, generative AI application development, including agentic AI. So, and we believe in lifelong learning. So, whenever we have new things coming up, so many new things, very soon you'll have quantum computing, we'll have quantum machine learning. So, we're going to bring you all those. Any questions, guys? We plan to start our course sometime from next Saturday, Sunday. These are Saturday, Sunday batches, morning 9 to 12. 9 to 12, 3 hours. Obviously, there'll be a break of 15 minutes in between. And so that's it. So,
Great.
um,
Great, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for walking us through, the webinar and obviously, taking us through these details of what is covered in the course. Folks, I believe you see the value in, building a strong foundation and why it is important today, right? Given the context of how the future is unfolding, I think building this strong foundation is important, right? That's where we are coming up with this course. Like sir was suggesting, it's a 60-hour course which will cover over 10 weeks, and we'll do at least 2 sessions every week, right? And we can have doubt clarifying sessions. It's a most hands-on course with assignments, projects, and you'll get
And
feedback
we
from.
will use all real life data.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And the batch is starting from next week. While the launch price that is also there on the website was around 53,100, including GST, right? We requested, sir, especially for folks who are part of this webinar, to get this price down, and we asked for a 33% discount. That's where we are able to effectively offer this to you at 35,400 inclusive of all uh, taxes, right?
That is
So,
that is full of machine learning and deep learning.
right, right, absolutely. So, any questions, team, folks, on the course, on the pricing? What I'm going to do next is, in the chat box, I'm putting down the link of payment. So, if any of you are interested, go ahead right away, make the most of the discount that we are offering to this cohort, and get the maximum value that you can from this course, right? Can I get a show of hands? How many of you are interested, want to know more about the course? Maybe a thumbs up or a yes in the chat box of folks who are interested. Feel free to also invite your friends, your colleagues, who you feel would want to join the batch with you, right? And we do offer some referral bonuses to people as well, and we can extend them the same discount, right? So please let me know in the chat box, folks, how many of you are interested. Got it, got it. So what we'll do is, as a follow-up, we'll reach out to you to see, if there's interest developing, and we can get on a conversation. I'm also dropping a link of the feedback form, where you can mention details of, how you felt the webinar was it useful, any next topics that you will want, Rajiv sir to cover or share with you. We'll be happy to organize. There's also a comment there for you to sort of suggest your interest and for the course. So please mark your interest as well. In terms of the course, I think Pranjal, you're asking for the syllabus. I'm putting down the entire course link page, so you can go ahead and review this page. It has details of everything that will be covered in the program. Okay. The classes will happen on Learning's platform. Simply, you need to register, and you will have access to the recordings as well. That gives you comfort of going back, even if you miss a class, right? To have that recording with you. Now, typically, there's a strong difference in the recorded lectures or courses that you see, or YouTube videos. They are not personalized, right? If you have a problem, a recorded video can't solve that, right? That's where live courses that are offered on the platform, and especially by experienced instructors like Rajiv sir, matters the
Varun,
most.
Varun, let me share with you, share with the students something here. See, you have pre-recorded courses available, almost like for a throwaway prices. But let me tell you, uh, see what happens when we work with machine learning, deep learning. We work with a lot of libraries. We work with a lot of functions. So as time goes by, these functions and libraries are changed, and a script which has run good for me 1 month back will suddenly not run and give error and sit down. So when you go to the courses which are pre-recorded courses, maybe the course has been made, and the script and the data that is being given to you through the course is 2 months old. So when you hit that error, either you are capable, you are a tech savvy guy knowing programming so well that you can go to sites like Stack Overflow and then get it solved yourself, or you have to write to them and wait for 2 to 3 days before if at all they respond. Sometimes they don't respond. Most of this covered these things, I'll tell you. So if you're new to programming, machine learning, AI, you get live help. If you have a problem today evening, next day morning, when you come to the class, you ask, right? You get it solved. You're given the fix right away. For most of the recorded cases, let me tell you, it looks like for a throwaway price, it is available. But sometimes there is accent problem if it's an international kind of a customer. So I'm telling you, many places while developing, while practicing, you will get errors because those scripts are made few months back. So there was a different version of a library, say pandas or numpy. That version supported some function which the new version is not supporting. So you don't know how to handle it. So which is not a problem in a live classes, because even say I'm teaching for last 7.5 years. If I'm going to teach you something tomorrow, I make sure a day before I run the course and make sure that all the libraries this course is running. If there is an error somewhere, I rather fix it within a few minutes, because I cannot show you a wrong code or an error code in the class, which I cannot explain. Okay, so there are differences between pre-recorded courses and live instructor-led live courses. Okay, Varun, you can continue.
Right, right. No, so thank you so much for explaining it so well. So, team, while this is an investment, it is an investment in all our futures, right? On building the right base, and I think working with someone who's an expert from the industry, who's worked on things that are current and not just academic, right? It's also very hands-on. It's using real-world examples. You're building projects. You build your resume it this way as well, where you showcase projects that you've done. You can put them on LinkedIn as well. You can build a consulting profile, and very importantly, like sir said, there's an opportunity to become a trainer as well, right? Because not a lot of folks are building some of these skills which are uh, the base and will equip you with all the necessary knowledge of tools, of platforms, of how to build AI first applications, right? So um, my recommendation is to let us know in the feedback form that we've shared. We'll also connect with you. Anything that you need, to get any clarification in terms of course details, we are happy to provide. But don't let pass of this opportunity. And this discount is only offered over the next 2 to 3 days with the sir's approval of doing this for the webinar attendees only. The same course price will not be applicable for other people, right? So let me know. I've dropped the feedback form in the chat box and the payment link as well. Uh, are there any last questions before we close? Anyone? Okay. With that, so Rajiv sir, thank you so much for taking out time, and it was a very enriching session. I had a great time. I think a lot of things were demystified for me, and I look forward to doing many more, such engaging sessions, and look forward to the batch starting on 21st February. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the webinar, and all the best for your careers. And we are here to provide any support that you need. Thank you so much. Great day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.